The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The masks are finally off. For 3 years, he watched in silence as his soldiers were kicked out. His flags were burned and his influence evaporated. But now Emmanuel Macron has broken his silence, and what he just said has sent the entire Sahel on fire. He says he did nothing wrong. He says Africa forgot to say thank you, and now he is calling for a debate, a final showdown of narrative. But is this genuine call for truth or the desperate move of a leader who has lost his grip on a continent that no longer fears him? Today we dive into the most explosive diplomatic war of 2026, Emmanuel Macron versus the AES, the master versus the sovereigns. You cannot afford to miss a single second of this. Let's look at the facts. In a shocking address to his ambassador, President Emmanuel Macron didn't apologize. Instead, he doubled down. He claimed that without the French army, countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger will not even be sovereign states today. Imagine that. After decades of Operation Bakken, while terrorism spread further into the region, Macron's takeaway is that Africa owns him. A thank you. This isn't just diplomacy. This is a direct challenge to the dignity of every African who stood up for their independence. He told the world, I did nothing wrong in Africa. But if that's true, why is the Sahel turning its back on Paris and looking towards new partners? But here is where it gets dangerous. Macron isn't just complaining. He's calling for a debate. He wants to challenge the leaders of the AES, Captain Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Abdurrahmane Chani are two generals, to a battle of narrative. He claims that the anti-French sentiment is just disinformation and Russian propaganda. He is betting that if he gets into a room or a public forum, he can prove the Sahelian leaders are wrong. But Macron is forgotten one thing. Captain Ibrahim Traore already answered him. Traore's response was cold and clear. We don't need your validation. We need our sovereignty. Traore reminded him that if we were talking about thank you, France should thank the African ancestors who died to liberate Paris in World War II. Is there something darker happening behind the scenes? While Macron called for debate in public, Russian intelligence reports have surfaced alleging that the French administration is seeking political revenge. We are talking about whispers of destabilization plots against the AES leaders because they dared to kick out the colonial oppressor. Is the debate just a distraction while other plans are in motion? The world is changing. The Sahel is no longer a backyard for European interests. Whether Macron likes it or not, the thank you he is looking for will never come. Because the people of the Sahel believe it is France that owes Africa a debt that can never be paid. Who do you believe? Do we believe in what Emmanuel Macron is calling for? And why should Emmanuel Macron be calling for a debate right now when we have Russian intelligence accusing France of plotting to destabilize Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? And all the plots, the perpetrators allegedly always claim France is behind. We saw the recent confessions that the plotters who tried to assassinate Captain Ibrahim Traore said that the financing was from France and through Ivory Coast to them. So why is it that Emmanuel Macron is calling for a debate between him and the Sahelian leaders? Because he believes that if he gets the chance to be in a room, he will be able to convince them. But are these the same leaders that we have in the democratically elected? Are these the ones that Emmanuel Macron believes that having a chance an hour or two with them will change their belief? And why did he even say that Russian misinformation and propaganda when we know very well Europe or the West have always been the ones who are spreading misinformation and propaganda concerning Africa? These were the same people who sat down to demarcate Africa without involving Africans. These are the people who believe that the African resources belong to them. And these are the people who feed us with information that we can never do it here if we don't move out of Africa. Through the kind of education, brainwashing us into believing that everything European is beautiful. And these are the people today come back to lecture us that Russia is the one misinforming and using propaganda. Who uses these tools far better than these people? What a beautiful day we are seeing in Africa. And Emmanuel Macron still believes in this 2026 that he can convince the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso when they have decided to walk away for good from France and reclaiming their sovereignty, reclaiming their territories. And we also see when they arrest people, we see French nationals being part of the perpetrators. So how do we now believe France when we have evidence from their own citizens concerning the attempted coups that we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? The recent one was in Niger, where a French national was part. So how will Emmanuel Macron then convince these leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that France is the best partner they can ever have, when France is forcing them to keep their reserves, use the CFA franc, and everything of theirs should still be in Paris, where they control, and even when they are coming for their own money, they still have to pay interest. This is unbelievable that we are living to see this. Is this a move of desperation? We know we can never have a leopard changing its skin. But let's see how it goes. Whether our all-in-alls will finally give Emmanuel Macron the chance to be in the same room with them to debate them. We are the only ones that can set ourselves reunited we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in France.